back to the Purpose and Performance Podcast.
Welcome back.
Episode 8. Diet Pepsi's going to sponsor us since Andrew's had one on every single episode. Almost every episode.
Almost, except for last week because I was sick and I would have been coughing the whole almost said the whole case. There comes word coming out of my mouth. The whole podcast.
The whole podcast. Yeah, so today's kind of exciting. We're jumping into a 3-part series.
We are. We're jumping into the 3 practices to build foolproof habits.
Yeah. So it's not just about talking about them, but how to actually do it with practical application as well. These aren't just things that happen only in January. These are things that you need to do all the time. And it's not things you just post about on social media either. It's forming these habits in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, these are actually going to be able to transform who you are. I know that I'm kind of in the middle of these habits, so I think my take on these is going to be a little bit different than yours for someone who is really good at practicing them, honestly.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. But they're going to transform you not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally, because what we're going to talk about overlaps obviously into both categories. That's our whole podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I know the podcast is about faith and fitness, but like this is something that just like sweeps the whole board.
It does. Yeah.
Exactly. So what we're going to be doing is episode 1 is going to be about commitment. Episode 2 is going to be discipline. And then episode 3 will be consistency. So commitment, discipline, consistency. And so honestly, here's the truth. The order matters with these things. And so that's why we're splitting these into 3 episodes to make sure that we get as much detail as we can into each one and give them the attention that they deserve. But before you can ever become disciplined, you have to commit. Mm-hmm. And before you can ever become consistent, you have to be disciplined. So the order definitely matters. So commitment is really just the decision before the action is taken. The commitment is the line in the sand that we draw. So when we decide that we want to do something and we're going to commit to them, that is it. So that is the line and we will not cross it. That's how it should be anyway.
Right.
And commitment really is just like this internal promise to yourself that says no matter what.
Yeah. No, I like that. Well, I mean, it's also the same mental muscle required that you're using to commit to God and to your faith. That's that same mental muscle that you use to commit to the gym or to your spouse or to anything in life. The more you exercise commitment, the more applicable and easy it is to commit to things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
commitment something that I learned through fitness, but because I learned what that really truly means, it's applied to every other area of my life with sobriety, with my walk in faith, in my marriage. So this will be applicable to way more things than just faith and fitness. So
right. And Andra might sound calm about talking about this. This is one of her favorite topics of all time. Not just commitment, but these 3 topics, the commitment, the discipline, and the consistency. Honestly, I feel like it's talked about weekly, sometimes daily in this house.
I mean, but it's just so integral to every part of our life. Like, I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, no.
Lots to learn.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't be passionate about it. I probably need to be more passionate about it. But I'm saying for the listeners, there might be some tangents in here.
There might be. But I also get passionate about this because I think it's something that's lacking in society so severely. So severely. It's like everything is optional and everyone wants to be comfy. And let's just keep going.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's start.
Yes.
For the people here. I'm talking about what commitment actually is, right? Mm-hmm. So the definition of commitment is pre-decided loyalty to a course of action regardless of emotion. And again, those 3 last words I'm surprised they're not tattooed on you somewhere.
They should be. Like emotionless.
Regardless of emotion.
Well, we have a flag hanging in the gym that says nobody cares, work harder.
Right.
Which I know is a campaigns thing.
That's correct.
But before I even knew who that man was, I loved this phrase. I have a hoodie downstairs that I love to wear too.
You do.
Gives me a lot of stares in public, but it's true. Like nobody cares. Work harder.
Right.
Point blank.
Yeah.
So I think something to highlight in here too is that it's a pre-decided loyalty. So it's not like how fuzzy you feel day of, how loyal you're going to be to what you committed to. It's a pre-decided thing that you said, yes, sign my name on the dotted line, regardless of how I feel tomorrow.
Right.
So let's reiterate that regardless of emotion, and this is going to be a key theme throughout the series that we're going to reflect back on again and again, because it's going to apply to discipline and to consistency as well.
Regardless of emotion.
That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt. There's a lot of things that are t-shirts. Apparently, absolutely is not one of them.
It should be regardless of emotion, and then the back's like, absolutely.
For everyone out there, I tried to make shirts. I went on a venture thinking, I'm fashionable, I'm artsy. And Andrea saw the shirts and immediately was like, what happened here?
No, it was so bad. I mean, I'm sorry, it was. I mean, you tried. You did.
Yeah, and I almost bought one and was going to wear it on like the pod today or like a different one. And I'm so glad I didn't, because she was like, oh, those are bad. And I'm like, yeah, they are. The computer made them.
I need to pull my Cricut out of the closet and just make an absolutely shirt for you now.
Yeah, that's true.
But make it all uneven.
Yeah, just destroy it. Make it bad.
Make it
bad. All right, back on track here.
Yes.
So commitment is not what?
So 4 things that I wrote down here. So commitment is not motivation. It's not excitement. It is not inspiration. And it's not a feeling. So if we're going to dive in a little bit more into these, motivation is another passionate word of mine.
It is. We talked about that on the last episode, I believe.
One of them, maybe all of them. I don't know.
I probably.
So motivation is BS. Is crap. So motivation is an emotion. Again, it's a feeling that you have. It is fleeting. It lies, and it goes away. It's very, very temporary. So motivation really is just like the initial push or the emotion or the reason to act. But commitment is going to be the decision to persist past when motivation inevitably does always fade. So motivation fluctuates, but commitment to this endures.
And again, I think that's something that I like hearing you talk about it, because the more you talk about it, the more it's getting ingrained in my brain, because it's something I always struggled with. And not going to retell the story from a previous episode, but the first time you were like, motivation's not real. I'm like, bruh, what? Like, who is this psycho? And then now I get it. Like,
I marry David Goggins?
Yeah. Is this Danielle Goggins? But yeah, no, I think that was something that I didn't understand at first, but now I do understand more, where I might be, and I honestly think the faith thing helped with this. Before, I was motivated to get into my Bible. So I'd get into it. I'd be like, oh, that was cool. All right, done.
Yeah.
I wasn't committed to doing it every day. I was motivated when I needed it.
Yeah.
But not committed to reading it every day.
Right.
And it's different now. So yeah, I think that, again, it's very easy to mistake motivation and commitment.
It is. And the second thing is...
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to ask that. I was going to say...
What's the second thing?
Yeah.
So the second thing is excitement. So excitement's basically another emotion. It is a temporary high that can spark action. But commitment doesn't, again, depend on emotional peaks. So it remains completely consistent when excitement is going to be one of those big spikes in emotion, and then we're going to come back down. Yeah.
Again, talked about that on another episode as well. Those intensity spikes.
Yes, exactly.
And then the third one was inspiration.
Yes, inspiration. Okay. So I think what this is kind of all sort of the same thing, but inspiration kind of illuminates the possibilities, and it's kind of like daydreaming. And it can start your movement, but commitment's the ongoing choice to continue to follow through, again and again, like I already said. When things become really mundane, I mean, you're not inspired to do mundane things.
No. And again, to relate that back to the Bible, I'm reading Exodus and I'm started in Leviticus. These are not entertaining chapters sometimes. There's some good stuff. There's the 10 Commandments. There's some other great stuff that comes from there. And when they're building, the tabernacle for God and the Ark of the Covenant. Like there's some cool stuff, but boy, there's like some 4 or 5 chapters where we're just talking about genealogy.
Yeah. And it's like snooze.
Yeah, it is. And so, like you said, you can be inspired and you read Genesis and you're like, ooh, okay, God made this and God did this and God did this. And you're like, well, Jebediah knows Jethro, who knows the Beverly Hillbillies. And you're like, oh man, this is mundane.
Exactly. But you've committed, so you must do thorough work and get through it.
Right. So,
Right.
yeah.
And so like the last thing is, again, it is not a feeling. So feelings are transient. They come and they go, and commitment is a stance.
Mm-hmm.
And I will reiterate this again. A decision that guides behavior regardless of your shifting feelings.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's good to know that like these aren't bad things to have.
No, they're not.
It's just not what commitment's not. It's not bad to have motivation that pushes you into commitment. It's not bad to have a feeling of like, oh my gosh, I feel moved and I need to get into the Bible, or I need to start working out and like taking care of myself to honor God and what he gave me.
Right.
It's not bad to have these things, but it's important to not mistake them with commitment. That's the biggest part.
Right. Or allow it to take over so that when it does eventually go away, the commitment then fades. And that's not what it is.
Good point.
Being inspired by something is great. Being motivated to start is great. And being excited about it, that's also great.
Yeah.
But once you commit, I mean, all that stuff is going to go away. And I just think it's good to know that like it will. So when you do commit, you understand that you're going to have some challenging times.
Right.
But you signed on the dotted line.
Well, we call those trials. But so I think this ties us right into what is commitment, right?
Yes.
Through the trials and these things, break down commitment and what it is for me.
So on the notes here, I wrote that commitment is a covenant mindset. It is a vow, and it is a settled conviction. So those are some serious words that people are probably like, wow, that's a little much to describe what commitment is, but it's serious.
Well, think about it in this way. I am committed to you as my wife.
Rock
Those, what's up? I wish I had the pew pew pew. But when you think of it that way, you're like, yeah, it's a covenant and it's a vow, and yeah, it's this conviction. It's I am here and you are my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Why does that not translate to other areas of commitment? It should.
Right.
Like, I am here. I want to have a relationship with God. I'm making a vow to have this commitment, a vow to have the commitment with God. Like all three of these things are exactly how any commitment should be. I am committing to myself that I'm going to go to the gym and get healthier to honor the body God gave me.
There's not a different definition for commitment on fitness or God. Like it is, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
So like a covenant mindset commitment functions like a covenant, a mutual binding agreement that shapes priorities and enforces accountability.
Yeah.
So enforces accountability.
Right.
I think that's the biggest part of that whole sentence.
Mm-hmm. The word accountability makes people uncomfortable.
It does, because eventually it's going to put the mirror right in front of you because, I mean, you're going to stumble. It's just how it is. But accountability, here's the mirror.
Yeah.
What did you do? How can we learn?
Right.
So it's going to create that moral, like relational framework that constrains choice in service of an intention.
Makes sense to me.
Right.
And what about the vow? Because I think, again, people hear vow and they're like, yeah, weddings. Yeah. They don't think vows and are like, oh, man, I got to go run.
Yeah. I vowed to run. I mean, I did, but, I think when we look at vow, we have to look at a vow as an explicit promise to act or endure. It's a promise. In committing, you're promising to do what it takes to achieve X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a vow. Vows anchor behavior with responsibility and making it easier to resist the short-term temptations.
Yeah.
Which I think that those short-term temptations would often be in emotion.
Yeah. Again, when you vow to your wife or your husband, you vow in sickness and in health, or some people write their own vows. And the reality is all that ties back into all of this, because in sickness and in health, are you emotionally healthy? Are you spiritually healthy? Are you physically healthy? And what are you doing to try and maintain that to the highest ability?
Yeah.
You have a responsibility to the partner that you married to do both.
Yeah.
And that's something, again, that I'm learning and have learned recently, where I'm like, this isn't about me. It's about you. It's about Ezra. It's about the people around me, and making sure that like I am physically available, but also emotionally and spiritually available for everyone around me.
Yeah.
It's a vow for those things.
Yeah. And the last thing is like a settled conviction. So when we're convicted about something, we have this belief that like this is a course of action that is right and worth sustaining. Or if there is something we're not doing well when we're convicted about it, it's because we know that the opposite would be a better, more well-sustained decision. So a settled conviction would be that your commitment is rooted in that conviction, and it settles the belief that the rationale and the resilience behind that persistent effort is good.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the motivation starts with you, but the commitment's what holds you in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going anywhere then.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of an easier way to think about it.
I know it seems like such a simple thing, but when you really do break it down, it becomes a far bigger deal than just a simple word.
Well, back to this again, and I should just throw in the Allen Iverson thing. We're talking about practice, but like seriously, it's putting it into practice. This isn't just a clip for social media and put out and be like, we talked about commitment today.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Like, no, it's how are you going to start your commitment journey when you listen to this today and move forward spiritually, physically, emotionally, all those things.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So just to reiterate this, let's revisit motivation.
Okay.
So motivation starts with you, but commitment is what anchors you, as we said.
Right.
So motivation is crap. Put it on a t-shirt.
Put it on a
Quote
t-shirt.
me. So motivation is an emotion, and commitment is null of emotion.
Makes sense. So one involves emotion, one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the end of the day, this is your integrity. It is your word.
Mm.
And quote, because I said I would. End of story.
I like it.
And so if we treat commitment as a decision and a structure rather than waiting for feelings, this shifts the focus from chasing motivation to like building systems, which we're going to get into building those systems, but that honor your covenant or your vow, that reinforce your settled conviction.
Yeah. And I think to tag into that as well, even more, when we talk about motivation here, you can be motivated to start reading the Bible. You can be motivated to get involved with Christ. But the reality of it is, what about when it doesn't feel good? What about when you're reading Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers? Like, what about that? What about when there's a death in the family? What about when things are really difficult in life, work's tough, life's tough, friends, everything's going wrong?
You got some feelings about it that you're like, why is this happening the way it is?
Yeah, what are these trials, right? And so, like, for me, this is kind of an interesting thing to even talk about, because for me, I've felt the opposite my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
When things are bad, I'm like, hey, big guy, it's me again.
Yeah.
How we doing? Been a while.
I'm back.
That's what it used to be like. But when things were good, I didn't have another thought about it, right? Like, I wasn't ever.
You kind of just coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Oh, you did it.
I got one. There's one. But I think that what has changed now is I've committed that when life is easy, being incredibly thankful and gracious that that's happening. And again, my motivation's gone.
Yeah.
I'm not motivated to get up every day and open the Bible. I'm committed to doing it because it's being obedient to God.
Right.
And so I think that even now when life can be easy, or you have easy days or great days, I'm now starting to see those in a different light, where I'm like, because I'm committed, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Thanks for today. This was cool.
Yeah. And you've started to give gratitude when things are good, instead of just asking for help when things are bad. Like, imagine if a friend did that to you and you were like, every single time they had a problem, they came to you and they were just like, hey man, I need some help again. But then every time things were good, they were just like, all right, cool, see ya.
Peace out.
I mean, you wouldn't sustain that friendship. You'd be like, you only want me when you need something.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. Huh. I like that.
Yeah. Or even if the child goes to a parent every single time, oh, I'm down again, Ma, I need some money. But then doesn't come for Sunday dinner to spend time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, okay, now that we're on this topic, let's explore this a little bit more. Because I started in the church and grew up in the church, and we've talked about this in the testimony episodes. A little bit different for you. What was it like starting the initial commitment like that as an adult? Because like for me, I learned about the commitment early, but I didn't act on it, right? Mm-hmm. But I had the foundation. What was it like starting that commitment like as an adult and recently?
Yeah, I think that to preface this, I did things a little backwards. So they say when you're trying to get sober that like you should find your higher power first. And I didn't do that. So I think I learned a lot about commitment through sobriety first. Let's just say that, because I grew up with my parents both being in recovery and then my dad working as a substance abuse counselor. So I learned a lot about that part of it from his eyes. And so I knew what it meant when you said and told the world, I'm going to quit drinking. I need to get sober. Like that is so definitive when you say that, and it puts everybody on notice. And now all the eyes look at you and they're like, okay, we heard you say it. Now you've admitted it. Now you have a problem, and a whole world knows, and you just committed to doing this. And that was what was so scary for me for so long, was because I knew if I said that everybody would look at me, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And there would be no turning back at that point. So I learned what commitment is through that.
But that enforced accountability.
It absolutely did.
So sorry to go on a tangent here. Do you feel like more people don't do that because they're worried about having to be held accountable?
Yeah. And what if I fail? What if I can't do it? Actually, what if I change my mind? What if I don't want to do this anymore? And now I have to come up with excuses, which I did do once.
Right.
And I have to convince everybody around me that like, oh, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Just new boot goofing.
Yeah. Or like now I have to now I have to change my life and deal with things a little differently. And now maybe I can't do all the social stuff.
Right.
And all the social pressures of things that make me cool culturally.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. I need to ask about that. Yeah. That's interesting.
But it's going to all connect with faith. Right. So I learned about commitment through that first. And then when I realized that I was living a little bit of a hypocrisy, which we know the story, and I decided that I wanted to turn back towards God. I mean, I knew that if I dove into this, especially with your background, that once I said it, that's a commitment. Mm-hmm. And I was going to have to face my own shame, face my own fears, my own anger. And for a long time, I just wasn't ready for that, because that meant, again, I'd have to change my lifestyle a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'd have to let go of some cultural things. And that's a really difficult thing to do. And I had to do that with sobriety. So I built a little confidence there with doing that. And I knew that by coming to you yet again and saying, I would like to bring Christ into our marriage.
Yeah.
That you were like, okay, well, face some stuff.
Yeah, that. And then I was like, ooh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah. So I had to learn that my shame is not something that I need to hold on to anymore. My anger was misplaced. And that I just knew that by committing, that meant letting go of all that, and committing means business.
Yeah. And here's what I think, though. I think that, not to like bring the whole podcast tie in together and be like, ooh, but here we go. Here's some fitness. Mm-hmm. But like really your commitment to improving your life, starting triathlon, like getting out of your comfort zone with triathlon to start. Folks, she didn't competitively swim ever before she swam the Chicago Tri last year.
No.
And
I hated swimming. I still do, but
yeah,
not
so
as much.
You still hate it.
Not as much.
But like getting way out of your comfort zone and committing to the fact I'm going to do this triathlon and I'm signing up for an Ironman. Like you made these commitments and you honored those commitments.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like those helped you with committing to that relationship with God?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so like, I know I'm comparing sobriety all the way to God, but in between those two things was the fitness that I've always been committed to, but like I reignited my.
I've never seen you committed like this.
Right. Well, that's true. That's true. I let emotion deter my commitment before.
Yeah. Cause like right now it is like, it feels different. Like I feel truly, I'm not just saying this to like pat your back. I feel like I'm watching a high level athlete. You're like, it's time to go to work.
Oh.
Like, all right, it is 3:50 in the morning. Could you please keep the lights off? I'm just kidding.
I do. I tiptoe.
I know.
For those of you who don't know out there, that was probably one of the highest points of praise that Trev could have ever given me. And now I'm really red.
Yeah.
That was kind. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I'm not crying. You're crying. Anyway. But yeah, so there was a between sobriety and coming back to faith. And that was that I like recommitted to this fitness stuff. And it like, yeah, I think I did learn a lot about myself in that, in knowing that if I was going to do this, I was going to do this.
Yeah.
And so with fitness, it's like, you don't just train when it feels good, right? So there's like that piece of emotion that we need to leave out of it, right? So when you, regardless of if it was sobriety or if it's fitness or if it's God, there's something to be said about like the setup of commitment. So like, yeah, I want to do this goal. Like, so now what?
Yeah. So like almost how do you get that set up?
Yeah. And I think this is like one of the most important parts for you to just like slow down and make sure that you have set up correctly so that later you have all of these tools for when emotion does creep in.
Okay. So let's say someone wanted to establish themselves and like actually put together almost like a game plan. Like how do they start going about this goal setup?
Yes. So the first part is like, what do I need to establish to set myself up for success? So what do I need to get started?
Okay.
So let's say it's fitness. Do I have the correct shoes, clothing, equipment? Do I have those things so that you can do the thing?
Makes sense.
Do I need a membership to a gym? Do I need to hire a coach? Do I need to make a plan? However you want to make your plan, I would very much advise against just winging it every day. Like that is leaving it up to emotion to just be like, nah, it's fine. If you have a plan in place every single day that you're going to do something, it's easier to hold yourself accountable to that, right? Even more so if you have a coach. Another plug.
Oh, we're back.
We're so back. So a plan in place that's going to get you to X goal, whatever that is. Do I need a race or a competition to look forward to? If you're that kind of person, I 100% am that kind of person.
But does that count as motivation?
No, I mean, I think it just gives you like a set time to be like, okay, this plan that I have in place is going to be 12 weeks long and get me to this.
So it's almost like you're committing to that race date, which is going to almost force committal until then, or you're going to be miserable at the race.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's just a tool.
Okay.
Do I need to sit down? This is really important. Do I need to sit down with my spouse and tell them how much this means to me and ask them for support in a lifestyle change? Mm-hmm. So sitting down with you and being like, I want to do an Ironman, right? When I said I want to sign up for, 70.3. And telling you knowingly, hey, this is going to take a big time commitment out of me.
Right.
This means a lot to me. I need your support. Day to day is going to look a little different.
Right. And we did that. We had that conversation. And I mean, I didn't think you seemed worried about the conversation.
I wasn't at that time because I trust that you would support me with whatever I want to do. But I know that that's not reality for everybody. So like being able to convey that and say like, hey, this really means a lot to me. I'd really love your support in this. Can we figure out how we can make this work?
Right.
So, and that's just with fitness. Like, let's just say it's with restarting your faith journey. So what tools do I need again? Like, so just an example for myself, I knew that getting back into that, I was going to have something to set me up, to bring me along the way, because me just opening the Bible is like the same thing as just going and working out without a plan.
Right.
Right. So I needed something. That's why I chose to do the Bible like in 52 weeks. And it's just a small reading every day. And
Right.
so that just gave me a plan, a digestible plan to do every single day that I can set and say, hey, first thing I do in the morning is this.
Right.
It's the same thing as having a coach or a plan with fitness.
Makes sense. And I think, again, that's talking about what am I establishing to set myself up for success?
Mm-hmm.
That's the setup for success. There's a subtraction that has to happen. There's an elimination of things
Mm-hmm.
that have to happen in order to have success too. Touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So what do I need to eliminate from my life in order to set myself up for success? So distractions, number one. So is this like does your social life not align with your new priority?
Yeah.
Right. So I learned this the hard way many, many, many times with sobriety. Does your social life not align? You're going to lose stuff. Sorry. Like, but you committed to a goal, and like some things are just going to have to go. And that's me taking the emotion out of it again.
Right.
But is there parts of your social life that don't align? So if if it's a fitness goal, and you're going to have to, in order for you to achieve that goal, say the only time you have is 5 a.m. Well, I mean, whatever you have socially going on that's keeping you up till 9, 10 o'clock at night, I mean, it might have to go.
Right. And I think that this is something we had to cut out even with ourselves. Like, we weren't like, I feel like we've never been stay up super late unless it's a weekend kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, like, normal would probably be 9:30 or 10 o'clock. That's not feasible with a 5 a.m. or a 3:50 a.m. Well, 5 a.m. workout, 3:50 a.m. wake up.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, it's feasible, but you're not going to recover the way that you need to. You're not going to have you're going to have a higher risk of injury and all these other things.
High sacrifice on that one, or risk.
But I think it's also, too, it's really easy for people from the outside to look at an Ironman athlete and say, wow, like 350, that's crazy. That's all that stuff. I could never do that. But the reality is it's a commitment to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't decide, you're like, you know what sounds cool? 3:50 a.m., 3 hours and 20 minutes on a bike, and then an hour run afterwards. That sounds like cool.
I can assure you that when the alarm goes off at 3:50, I do not feel motivated
Right.
to get out of bed.
But you're committed.
Yes.
But yeah, so eliminating those distractions, right?
Doom scrolling at night. That's
Oh.
keeping you up for 2 hours when you need to be getting sleep. Little distractions like that. So like whatever you need to do to eliminate those things from keeping you from getting to your goal, we need to get rid of those.
And again, to be relatable and to show we are not perfect. I doom scroll. She usually falls asleep 15 minutes of laying there.
Mm-hmm.
I will doom scroll. And my new thing over the last year has been doom scrolling on Shields and just seeing, well, what might I need? What hunting stuff don't I have that I might need to be able to provide for this family and put meat in the freezer?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's a cute excuse. Anywho, okay, so then what do I need to eliminate? Is it certain kind of foods?
Yeah.
Is it alcohol?
Yep.
Alcohol is it's an easy one to deter your fitness goals. So again, we talked about social media. So I know we're going to talk about this later, but this is kind of a caveat. To either eliminate it or use it to your advantage.
Okay.
So maybe sharing your journey for the right reasons, not your ego, not for pride. If it's for the right reasons, to maybe spark some motivation from somebody else to get them to commit to a new goal. Those are good reasons to do that. It would be a good thing to hold you accountable to your commitment. Maybe you say it to the world, like, hey, I'm going on this journey and now I put it out into the ethers. Or like, I know I didn't do this in early sobriety, but I did it 1 year when I put it out onto the internet. And I was like, well,
Here we go. Yeah, no. Well, just to touch on that too, like I've seen people do that. Most recently was Ryan, my
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
He's got his Ryan Runs account, and he even put like he was post every day, post every day, post every day. Then there were no posts for a couple of days, and then he put up a post like, I've been slacking on the running. I got to get back into it. Like that's a use of social media for accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I don't even know if he said he was slacking on running. I think he might have said he was slacking on posting, not running. And still, but like him posting those is gonna generate people to ask him, how are those runs going? I saw your thing, and like I know he does charity stuff and all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it generates a level of accountability where social media can be good and used for good.
Can be.
To keep you accountable.
Yeah, I mean, I did that today. I literally posted my stuff, and I was like, wow, I've been pretty bad at posting my training, but we're still chugging along here. And I did for like kind of like a week and a half wonder if like people were like, oh, I wonder if she quit.
I think it's really easy to think that because it's much easier to quit than to continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and it was like,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm still here. But anyway, so like eliminating certain things to set you up for success. So what do you think some things are examples of that, like with faith?
I mean, right off the bat, I mean, alcohol for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I became a completely different person because I think I'm just a natural wild card sometimes in general. But I will say that I felt like that was something that eliminated my commitment and my consistency to doing anything at church on Sundays or having any desire. I know when I told you before and I talked on the testimony episode, as soon as I got to college, I was like, ooh,
yeah,
alcohol's fun. I'm going to do this instead of going to campus ministry or whatever it might be. Right. I think that you also have to eliminate what you value from a worldly perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we just talked about Shields. Like, I think stuff's cool. I want to buy things. Everyone wants to buy things.
Mm-hmm.
Want versus need.
It's a temptation.
It's a temptation. It can be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's want versus need. But it's also, I feel like...
I mean, Amazon's my temptation. I get it.
Right. But I feel like also the way you speak. Like, I think this isn't talked about enough. I am still not some perfect person where I'm like, I do not cuss anymore. I try not to. Like, I think am I 95% better than I was 6 months ago? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But as a Christian, it is your job to project Christ into the world.
Yeah.
And be looked at as what is different about that person.
Mm-hmm.
What better way than to come up with more creative language than just saying the same 3, 4, 5 cuss words all the time to amplify whatever you're talking about. And I've had people mention now, even in the last 6 months, that they noticed that, do you not cuss anymore? I've had 2 people ask me that.
I didn't know that.
And I'm like, huh, yeah, I mean, no, I don't. But to me, I'm like, wow, so they noticed when I did.
It's jarring when you do.
And that's what I'm saying is like, I think that, especially in like any work environment or whatever it might be, just changing that demeanor. And also, I mean, frankly, not to really call it out here, but we'll just say it the way it is. You sound more educated when you come up with different words.
Yeah, I've had to really find some colorful language to replace it. And it's been a challenge, but I do have one thing that I wanted to bring up with this topic that came to my head while you were talking was you are who you surround yourself with.
100%.
And that phrase has been said to me throughout my whole life, and I never really believed it because I was a stubborn teenager or whatever. But I think it's true. You are who you surround yourself with. So when it comes to setting up a goal, regardless of the topic, if your social circle that's close to you is going to deter you from that goal, and it means that much to you, and they keep pulling you back, and like it's from the social circle, it's probably a hard truth. Maybe you need different friends.
Right. And I think that that's very easy to think about as well in the way of, like, we talk about alcohol, right? We made a decision not to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I haven't had this pressure from a lot of people, and I know you haven't either, but we've definitely heard it from some people.
Yeah.
Of like, come on, just have one. Come on, Come on, why won't you?
I've had that happen to me more than you, but yeah.
Yeah. Come on, why won't you? Why won't you? And again, that's a kudos to the people that I'm around. Like they didn't do that. They're just like, oh, that's neat. Like, how's that going? Like asking questions about it. But again, what you're saying, I think, comes with the caveat too of like, those people still need to be shown love. But if you are not in a place where you can honor the commitment that you are doing first, you need to eliminate whatever that might be in the social circle to be able to get back to that point. So if you are just starting your faith journey, or you don't feel like you're committed to God, or you're not committed to the fitness that you've started, or like this regimen and the schedule you've come into, you might need to withdraw a little bit to anchor your commitment.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you have to be like, see you later, I'm never going to talk to you again.
No, it doesn't. That's not what I meant.
But and I know that's what I'm clarifying.
Yeah.
What you're saying. But if it means that you need to take a step back for a month, 2 months, 3 months to be like, I'm going to be consistent. And then when I come back to this group or whatever it might be, and I maybe face some temptation or some challenges, I'm so committed and anchored in my faith or in my fitness journey or in my marriage or whatever it might be, that it's not going to deter me. And I think the marriage thing, I like to tag that in at the end, just as a little call out of like, if you're out with your boys and your boys are constantly like, oh, go talk to that girl, go do that, go do that, go do that, go do that, go do that. And you know that your weakness is women, like, you know, for a fact that you're like, oh man, take a step back, recommit to your wife, get into the word, redo all of that, restart. And like you said, maybe you got to get new friends if that's the way, but at least commit yourself and get back to that point. And then the next time that happens, I hate to say it this way and not to like be inflammatory, but challenge your friends. Why?
Yeah.
Happy where I'm at. What's up? Like, why do I need to go do that?
Exactly.
So anyway,
I think when you eliminate certain things from with what you need to set yourself up for success, you're showing yourself where your weaknesses lie.
Yeah.
With the commitment. So if your weakness, sobriety, let's say I'm eliminating from my life, going to the bar. That's your weakness right there. Might be, quote, cool words, trigger, whatever it is. If that is your weakness, you need to eliminate that from your life so that you can commit to what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in that situation again, I mean, you're asking for trouble. It's the same thing with fitness. Like, if you've committed to something and you're going to doom scroll for 3 hours, you're asking for trouble. It's a weakness.
Right. Yeah. If you don't have the ability to put your foot in the sand, well, the sand is a bad analogy, especially when you're talking about the Bible, but put your foot down on the rock. But if you don't have the ability to do that, and you don't feel like you're at the level of commitment you need to be at to do that, then you need to remove yourself from the situations, any of those situations.
Until you're strong enough and have enough confidence in yourself enough in order to be like, I am solid with where I'm at. The answer is no.
And the reality, too, is if the challenges keep happening and you're going time and time and time again, you might need to look at who you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
Moving forward.
And with like faith, too, like if it's who you surround yourself with and it's your boys over and over again saying like, oh, other girls, whatever it is, like that's, I mean, again, it's another weakness, but like, look at who you're sitting next to. Love them from afar.
Right.
But they're pulling you away from God.
Agreed.
And putting distance between the two and offering you temptation over and over again.
Right.
So that's just my little 2 cents there. You are who you surround yourself with. Your eliminations are going to show your weakness. So be aware of them.
So how would you institute like a habitual thing, like an everyday thing? What's like little things that you could do? Let's say we'll start with fitness, but like faith-wise too. What are some things you can do every day? I mean, you touched on one of them, 52-week journey through the Bible. Like, you know that you need to be in that every day to be able to make that happen. Yeah. What about like, well, fitness-wise or whatever else?
So I think like you have your initial commitment, right? And that's all fine and dandy. But every single day, I think you need to reestablish that commitment, right? So what does that look like habitually? So fitness-wise, like, what are you doing about food? Are you meal prepping, or are you going to use a meal prep service, or are you going to have a strategy? Like we saw that one on Instagram the other day. Whatever it is, like how are you attacking that? So every single day, we got to eat every day. So
we do,
so what are we doing about that? Because failing to plan is planning to fail, especially with meal prep, right?
I like that.
So another thing, if 5 a.m. is the only time that you have, like, what are you doing the night before to set yourself up? Because we know that nobody wants to get up, right? The last thing that I want to do at 3:50 in the morning is go find what I'm going to wear, go out into the kitchen and have to make coffee, wait for that coffee to be made, go upstairs and find my Bible, bring my Bible downstairs. Then I have to go find all my supplements and take those and get them out of the cabinet, blah, blah, blah. That's like 50 minutes.
I feel like there's nothing more refreshing than when I either hear you say it or when I do it, of setting up the coffee, getting our overnight oats ready, and everything is just on the counter. And it's just like, wake and go. Like, boom, boom. Again, habit forming. You do that once. Like, when we first did it, I didn't really think much of it. But now I'm just like, man, that cuts out so much time.
It does.
And it's like that small habit makes it easier to commit. It's a step towards commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This morning, I didn't have the coffee made. I forgot last night because we had obviously had things going on late.
We had people over.
Yeah, and I forgot to make it last night. And this morning, I walked out and I was like, oh, crap. And it's like such a little thing, but I was like, oh, it's not ready.
Like my coffee's not ready.
And I just was so sad. And that it bothered me. I also didn't set out any of my supplements. So I had to pull all those out of the cabinet. And I was like, oh, this is such a pain.
Yeah. In fairness, we did have a long Valentine's Day with family and stuff
it was
like that.
Worth it. I'm just saying, like, I notice when it's not there, right?
Yeah.
So setting up your training stuff the night before. And then, like, we've mentioned this before, but like scheduling and planning, whatever day that needs to be, but I like Sundays. And if you have a family calendar, writing everything down, making sure that everybody's schedule works, that you schedule your training in a non-negotiable time, that like you can't just cancel for other things. Like that is your time.
Right.
And it's the same thing with like your Bible study. If you're doing something small, devotional every day, you schedule that in and it is uninterruptible.
Right. If you wake up in the morning and you drink coffee, perfect time to do your devotional. Do it at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yep, exactly. And like if you're a journal person and that's part of like your every single day, and this is just, I'm relating this back to sobriety, but that's something that they do recommend all the time, is like kind of just like journaling how you're feeling that day, especially if you're new and shaky. Do that, but make sure that it's a scheduled time that nobody can interrupt you.
Yeah. No, I think it's perfect. As we look at this, I think it's just more or less that both of them require covenant thinking.
Yes.
Like this is just how it is. Like both fitness and faith require that. Your marriage requires that. Like if you are going to commit, you realize you're making a covenant and that's what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And obviously the Bible hits on this a trillion times.
Yes.
And there's some fantastic some fantastic descriptions of it. Again, I always like to preface this because if you're not very familiar with the Bible, there is no other perfect person in the Bible other than
Jesus Christ.
Dang, nailed it. You're getting pretty good at this.
I am.
Getting pretty good at this. Last week we talked about Christ over culture, which that's going to be a shirt at some point too. I won't be the one making it. But this week, I think we talk about, when we're talking about the Bible, we're talking about commitment over culture. And there's not much of a better example of that than Daniel. And so we'll start here. Daniel 1:8 in the ESV version. Mm-hmm. But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. And let me explain this.
Yes.
In biblical context, because people read from the Bible a lot without any context and it gets confusing. So Daniel was taken captive from Judah. He was removed from his homeland and he was placed in Babylon's royal training program.
Okay.
So when we think about the Egyptians, like what happened there? They would take people, enslave them, and they're like, get to work, right? He was also given a new name. Let me talk about that too. And then he was immersed in this culture of war. So he's in the royal training program, right? So what did they do? They did the opposite of the Egyptians. They gave him comfort. Here's everything. It was basically a complete identity reprogramming.
Okay.
Right? So their strategy, Babylon's strategy, was chains. It wasn't chains. It was comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look back at this verse again, but Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. That's not a dramatic first test. Someone brings you a Twinkie, are you going to, well, Twinkie's probably a bad example, they're trash. But someone brings you a great oatmeal raisin cookie.
Yum.
But it's from the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, the food looks good. I know I like them. Again, I know it tastes good.
Yeah.
But he was refusing to take that he was refusing to drink the king's wine and eat the king's food because he was taken captive and he was a prisoner.
Yeah.
It's not an emotional reaction. It's not him complaining or making a scene or doing whatever. He decided beforehand that he was going to commit to the fact that he's going to honor where he's from and he's not going to take the comfort route. And God provided for him.
Right. And he's given temptation over and over again. Tasty temptation.
Tasty temptation.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
And saying like what I said, the answer is no. I have committed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we talk about tasty temptation, food, alcohol, whatever it might be. Like, I'm the first to admit that I love me some sweets late at night.
Yeah, right.
And anyway. But the thing that with him is he pre-committed, right? He decided before the temptation. He knew the food was going to be there. He knew the wine was going to be there. He didn't negotiate his values in the moment. I think it's really easy to do that when we think about like an alarm clock.
Oh, the negotiating. I mean, it happens all the time. It's like, oh, well, if I think about today, I could just do this later. I have time here. No, get up. The time you're wasting trying to like battle with yourself. You could just be up.
Right. And so again, what did it require from Daniel? It required pre-commitment. Mm-hmm. It required understanding what the temptation is going to be. When you go to bed at night, you're telling me you don't think you're going to be tempted in the morning not to wake up for your alarm?
Oh, I mean.
Liars.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And so the biggest thing with him is he didn't negotiate in the moment. So how do you tie this in to being committed? Well, when you wake up in the morning, the night before you've pre-committed that I'm going to train at this time and I'm going to get into my Bible at this time. And that's it. I mean, it's a pre-committal.
Yep.
Honestly, it's not rocket science.
Yep.
Or like my grandpa used to say, it's not rocket surgery or brain science. Just flip them just for fun.
So like, even like you're looking at marriage, you're writing your vows.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-commitment. You haven't said them yet, but you know what you're going to say and you know what you're going to commit to.
So why, after a year in, are you deviating on that? Or 6 months in, are you deviating on that?
Yeah. Why are you forgetting about it?
Because you made a vow, you made a covenant, and all those things.
Yep.
Right. But think of it this way, like the alarm clock is your Babylon. The snack pantry is your Babylon.
Yep.
The phone at night in your hand is your Babylon.
Yep.
Like, have you already resolved? Like, have you already said, yeah, I know it's going to happen in the morning and I'll just do it?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you make the pre-commitment to not do that?
Yep.
And I think that Daniel's a great example of that because, again, right there, he could have offended leadership, been killed. I mean, there's 1,000 things that can happen to him. He's captive. They're feeding him great food. And he's like, I don't want your good food.
Right.
What happens? So, and again, God protected him. And it actually, believe it or not to go further in depth, because I think I've belabored my point up here a little bit, but it actually didn't offend the king. Mm-hmm. It actually impressed him because he was like, wow, this guy is very committed to his Jewish ways. Kind of cool.
Surprising.
Yeah. But again, God can soften or harden the hearts of people. Mm-hmm. So
it just shows you that commitment absolutely eliminates debate.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Well,
absolutely.
Here we are. And so that was more of a private thing too. Like I said, he didn't make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
We're going to flip and go the opposite direction. We're going to talk about Joshua. Shout out to all the Joshuas out there. He made more of a public commitment. So Joshua took over after Moses. Okay. So leading the Israelites.
Yep.
Older book of the Bible, basically. Old Testament, right? Yep. Kind of where I'm at, actually, in my daily reading. So I was just reading about Joshua.
I have it written up there. It's on the wall.
I don't even see it. What do you have written up there?
But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
I didn't even know you had it written on the wall.
It's written on the wall above the computer.
Meow.
Public commitment.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. So he declared it publicly. And what happens when we talked about this already with what you spoke about. When you commit to things publicly, you have accountability.
Yeah. It turns the lens back on you.
Right. And so again, we read the verse already of, and as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Very popular verse. I know a lot of people have this tattooed on them, but background from the Bible. So in Joshua 24, this is the end of Joshua's life. Joshua was the assistant to Moses, who became the leader of Israel after Moses died. That's just the most simple form, right? So he's a soldier, a servant, a follower, a nation leader, right? Israel's already entered the promised land. They've had military victories. They've seen God's faithfulness, but they're drifting because they're surrounded by Canaanite idols. Culture is deteriorating around them, causing problems around them. And then just generational forgetfulness. We talked about this before about the Israelites. It's like, all right, I'll bail you guys out again. And then, great. And then they forget again. And then God's like, all right, I'll bail you out again. But it's this idea that success breeds complacency. One of my favorite quotes of all time. I don't even know where I first heard that. What?
I like that.
Yeah, it does. What happens with success? You get comfortable.
Yep.
You get complacent. You settle in. So again, when we're talking about Joshua, his public declaration of faith, even at the end of his life, he's choosing who he's going to serve and who he's going to commit to. And I think that's huge. And I think the cooler thing is at the time with culture deteriorating, he didn't follow culture as we just talked about.
Yep.
He paved his own way. He aligned his house first. And again, we talk in the Bible about casting stones. Align your house first, just like we're attempting to do. Like, it's never going to be perfect, but start there.
Yeah.
Start with you.
Yep.
Right? So knowing what your house stands for. And then the last one is the easiest one of all time. It's the commitment to the cross. Jesus Christ himself.
Yes.
Right? He knew betrayal was coming. He knew Judas was going to go behind his back. He knew Peter was going to deny him. He knew pain was coming. He knew death was coming. And one of the great verses here is Luke 9:51. When the days drew near for him to be taken up, he set his face to go to Jerusalem. And all this means is basically he was determined. He knew the path that was coming. He knew he was going to be crucified. He knew he was going to rise again. He knew everything that was going to happen, yet he went anyway. Easiest biblical example of commitment.
Yeah, and I think the term set his face it's different, but I think it speaks more than just like he committed to it. Like, I feel like when you say like he set his face, it's like I picture like a laser focus, like I'm not moving to look in another direction to be distracted.
I immediately translated it to set his sights. Like,
yeah,
instant translation.
Like eyes
in my
here
brain.
fixed. Yeah. And I just think that has such like a bigger imagery and more profound imagery.
I think it's also easy, obviously, him being the most depicted biblical person. You see these pictures of him looking up like this, right? Like in these side profiles of Jesus a lot of people have those tattooed on them as well. That is what I think of when I see set his face. Like he's looking up to God saying, all right, like I'm on my way back, Dad. Like I know what's in store for me. Let's get after it.
Right.
But that's what this commitment is, right? It's being obedient before you're comfortable. Daniel and Joshua, both the same way. That's what this it brings it all back. It's being in the Word. It's committing to this lifestyle that honors God. When you start to commit in one area, the others happen, as you just shared with your testimony right now.
Yeah.
Like you committed to faith, you committed to stopping drinking without the higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And then those two things translated into a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Right.
Crazy
I
me.
think that a lot of the times that your obedience falters because you want to be comfy. And
Right.
as they say, the enemy is not going to challenge you. That this is like the opposite of what the enemy wants. The enemy wants to make you comfortable within your sin.
Mhm.
Sinning keeps you comfortable. And so that is exactly what the devil will do, is to do whatever it takes to give you those temptations over and over. And like our pastor said, hook you in like a fish.
Right.
Set the hook and keep you comfy.
And if you're falling to the same sin every time, he referenced this today, it'd be like the fish being caught on the same lure every time. And as humans, we're like, what a dumb fish. Like they just keep biting the same thing.
We do be dumb fish.
But here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we are.
So you become disobedient because of the temptation of comfort.
And
let me sleep in.
it's really easy to say enemy, and you think of whatever negative power, but the enemy that day can be the barbell, it can be the track for you, the pool, the pool. But all of those things don't care about your feelings. And
but you know what the pool is? It's uncomfortable for me.
it's uncomfortable, right?
And so I'm like, I don't want to get up and do that.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is it doesn't care about your feelings, and neither does obedience.
No.
Commitment doesn't care about feelings. It doesn't, regardless of emotion, right?
Yep. Nobody cares. Work harder.
Nobody cares, work harder. But again, it's not just a one-time decision, right?
No, it's not. I mean, it's committing all the time. And there's something that happens towards the end of a prep that I want to put in here, is that like you get tired and you don't enjoy this anymore. And frankly, I'm there. Like I have 6 weeks left. I don't enjoy this anymore every day. Like, but I committed to it and I got to do it. But there are times towards the end of a session where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I just want to be done. Like this sucks. I'm so tired. Like
The amount of messages I get that say, I think I'm going to cry.
Yeah. Like I'm a little over it sometimes. And I look up and I look at that flag that says nobody cares. And I think the other people that want to go to Worlds, they don't give a crap how I feel right now.
They do not.
They don't. And no one cares. And no one's going to stop their training or pull back a little bit on race day because I feel a little bit bad. So like,
right.
Nobody cares. Suck it up.
Commit every day.
There's my passion coming out. Anyway.
Well, to kind of touch on this, because we talked about habits, we talked about what you need to eliminate, but an overview of like, why do you feel like people fail at commitment specifically?
No, they just commit emotionally.
That's a good point.
And
that's a bar.
Yeah. And commitment without a plan based on emotion is super cute, but it's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
And that's not commitment. It's daydreaming with a hope and imagining how really cool that would be. But I mean, it's not. It's not true commitment. It's wishing that you could do something and hoping that like maybe I can just like stumble my way through if I feel okay every day.
Doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't work like that.
And I've definitely heard this is just like such a bothersome thing for me, but I'm going to give myself grace today. And I'm just like, that is such a fantastic phrase in certain situations, but it does not apply to your emotions because of your lack of commitment and discipline.
Facts.
Discipline for next time, but for your lack of commitment.
Right.
It's an excuse. And you're using it to justify your emotion for not wanting to do something you said you were going to do.
Correct.
Stop it.
I agree.
That's number one.
Yeah. Well, I think people also confuse that interest with devotion, right? Your book that you do in the morning isn't called your 52-week interest journal, is it?
No, it's not.
It's a devotional journal. And again, back to marriage. When you get married, you devote yourself to your spouse.
Yep.
When you commit to God, you are devoting yourself to God. And that includes honoring the body he gave you.
Yes.
And so this is a way to devote yourself to fitness wise, taking care of what God gave you that honors you, that honors the commitment you made in your marriage to be healthy and all these other things. And I'm saying this like passionately because I also feel this now with conviction after seeing what I even looked like 8 months ago.
Yep.
Where I'm like, man, that was not good for you. That wasn't good for God. That wasn't good for anybody for me to be like that. And so just devote yourself to it. Even if it's honestly, this is going to trigger you. Even if it's just eating healthy and you just want to lose a little bit of weight and you devote yourself to eating healthy and you're not like huge into the fitness space, but let's say you're taking a walk 2 or 3 times a week for 45 minutes.
I'm not saying you got to go do an Ironman.
No. Oh, I know that. I know that.
I'm not saying that at all. I mean, my whole thesis was on preference and tolerance for intensity of exercise. I know.
Dr. Curry. Pew, pew, pew.
But like, no, whatever fitness looks like for you, that's fine. But to commit to doing it.
Yeah. Even if it's, like if you even struggle with fitness, lose the weight first and try fitness again.
Sure.
It's been much more pleasurable for me to be 60 pounds lighter and go running versus
I bet it has.
My legs feel heavy when they're tired, but my legs aren't physically that heavy anymore, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. But think of the 3 things that you're for like with devotion, right? And all of these things. Think of the 3 things that God gave you that you cannot buy. It's your body, your spirit, and your mental. And those are the 3 things that if you do not take care of, they are gifts from God. You can't go buy that stuff.
Right.
So it is one of the most respectful things that you can do by committing to all 3 of those things as like a service to God.
It's an honor.
A thank you.
Yeah, it's an honor to him.
Right.
Absolutely. Oh, gosh.
Another one.
I think something you touched on earlier, but it's a quick one, but like people also want these outcomes without changing their identity.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go to the bars till midnight and then wake up at 5 a.m. and continue this trend. They want to be the life of the party and be whatever that might be. They want to eat 20 packs of Oreos at night and then wake up and be like, why am I still fat and not skinny? And I say that as someone who used to eat a pack of Oreos. So like, again, it's, you have to change your identity.
That's the comfortability part.
Yeah. You have to change your identity to get the outcomes you want. And that's also reality. It doesn't mean changing who you are at your core. It does mean changing what your outward identity is and the things that are not servicing you that you need to eliminate that you talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right. And you see this a lot. This is the first thing that came to my mind. You definitely see this a lot with people who want to be sober, but they don't want to change any of their habits.
Yeah.
So like, don't want to change your circle of all your friends who drink all the time. Okay, well, that's a problem. Like, you don't want to change your habits of what you do when you go on vacation. It's probably going to be a problem. Like,
right.
It's committing to, I am now a sober person. It's my identity now. What do sober people do? Go do that.
Yeah.
Go find something else to do.
And admittedly, I think it can be a little bit uncomfortable to try and figure out what we're going to do sometimes. Like, not now, but in the beginning when we first stopped drinking, we were like, so what do you want to do?
You know what? Life's boring when you get sober at first.
And then you find the joy. And
you're so uncomfortable with being bored because you're so used to dopamine hit. Like, you just want all this excitement. And you got that from drugs and alcohol. And now you don't have that. And like, honestly, life's kind of chill. Naturally.
We woke up, we went to a wedding in Arizona. I don't remember when that was. Months ago. Might even been like January last year.
Yeah,
it was like right after we were sober.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we got to like watch the sunrise in Arizona and like see the beauty that like you miss when you sleep in till 9 p.m. because you're or 9 a.m. because you're hungover or whatever it might be. Or even if you're not hungover, but you're doom scrolled on your phone all night till midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, fell asleep on your couch, moved to your bed. And then, it's 11 a.m. I got to get up and go do this. Like, you're missing a lot of beauty in life. Like, you really are. But
the simple stuff that like you forget about, that like, it's like, wow, thank you, God, for this beautiful painting that's in front of me that I have missed for so many times because of my own transgressions. And wow, like, how could I have missed this simple little thing that makes maybe just like not being the guy at the bar till 2 a.m., it makes it worth it.
Yep.
It just does. I don't know. Anyway.
And the biggest one of them all.
They negotiate when discomfort arrives.
And this is, we talked about Daniel with his Babylon. What is your Babylon?
Mm-hmm.
Is your Babylon your alarm clock? Is your Babylon that someone sets a pint of beer in front of you? Is your Babylon that a good-looking woman walks in front of you?
Yep.
What is your Babylon? Because when discomfort arrives, it's much easier to choose the comfortable option.
It is. And you know what the biggest waste of time is? Negotiating.
Yeah.
Like I listened to a podcast on Nick Bear's podcast by Nick Bear. And he was talking about like just the time suck of trying to negotiate with yourself. And even if that's not when the alarm goes off, it's like you're standing there at your kitchen counter and you're like, I don't want to go for this run. I don't want to go for this run. I don't want to do this. And like even that little 5 minutes of you being like, waste of time. Go.
I negotiated today. You got back, and I was like, okay, I'll go in a minute. I'll do this other thing. I'll do this other thing quick. I'll do this other thing. I'll do this other thing. And then now it's later at night, and we're recording a podcast, and it felt like it could get to be a time crunch. And it's like, all because I was like, didn't want to do it right away because I just didn't want to run 4.5 miles.
Biggest waste of time.
It is.
And you know what happens is at the end of all of that, if you're truly committed, you're going to do it anyway. So why did you just waste that time?
Yeah.
Like, why did you do that?
I think there's some self-reflective questions, and I know we included these in the last episode, and I love these questions because when I listen to a podcast, I like to hear these questions and to critically think about them. But are you interested in growth, or are you committed to growth? Are you trying Christianity, or are you following Christ?
Mm-hmm.
Are you dabbling in fitness, or are you honoring the body that God gave you?
Yes.
Think about those things. Are you committed to what you're doing? Are you following God? And are you honoring the body that God gave you?
Yep. And if you can answer yes to the latter part of all of those questions, your commitment will change your identity.
Pew, pew, pew.
So really, in summary here, there's some stuff that you can do as practical first steps to like commit to God and to fitness. And some of these things are, the first thing is you have to define your why. Because if your why is weak, your commitment will collapse always. And we don't mean why as in like, for fitness, I want to run a 1:30 half marathon. Like, neat. What else?
Why do you want to
Why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I want to get healthier. Why do you want
Why?
to be healthier?
Yeah.
Like, you got to find the deep why.
That is where emotion might come into commitment. Actually, I'm going to stand corrected here. That is probably where emotion comes in the most, is in your why.
Yeah.
So why do you want to do this? And at the end of the day, the reason that I want to do an Ironman is because at my deep, deep core, I do not trust myself because of my past. I want to prove to myself over and over again that I am a strong person that can do hard things. And then even deeper, I want to show my own child that you are strong and you can do hard things. And I want to be that example. I also want to be able to be doing this at 60 years old.
Right.
When he has children. And I'm the fit grandma on the beach. And I'm not the one that's sitting in a chair who can't walk through the sand because I'm too unfit.
Right.
And that's my why. And that just took me a minute to say that. That's deep emotional connection to your why. Right. And if you can remember that every single time, you will get up at 3:50.
Yeah, I really like that. And I relate to that after watching some of the men in my family struggle as they go to depart from the earth and head up to heaven. There was a lot of physical problems they had, diagnoses or whatever. And so my thought is, if I can be as healthy as I can possibly be, I might not avoid them. I mean, cancer's out there, right? Like, the reality is that. But if I can do anything to make my body healthier for that battle or for that fight, I'm going to try and do it.
Exactly.
And provide for it. So I really like your why, by the way. That's cool to hear you say that.
Oh, thanks.
I think looking at it, the second step, another practical step. So first practical step, define your why for your faith, for your fitness journey. And that faith, just to tackle back into the why, we talked about the fitness why, The faith why is, why do you want to start following God? Why? And that's a very difficult question to ask yourself, far more than people, I think, realize.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone has a different why of why they turn to God. But yeah, so define your why.
Yep.
And then make a covenant plan.
Yeah, like we said before.
Make a committed plan is another way to say that.
All the practical things that we talked before about things you're going to add or eliminate in your life, that is your plan.
Yep. So
vague commitment is going to produce vague results. I mean, you have to be detailed.
Right. And for you, it's your 52-week Bible journey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm going to do 10 minutes in the morning, get through, 10, 15, however long it takes, and get through this. Mm-hmm. And I've got my reading plan for what I'm going to do. And then you do a separate thing on Sundays.
Yep.
So you have 7 days that are consistent with the Bible plan, then extra time. And you know that you're doing it usually in this office
mm-hmm.
with a cup of coffee, and you've set apart a space for yourself.
Yep. Exactly.
And then in fitness, right, it's you choosing your training days.
Yeah.
And having a set schedule and going to the calendar in the kitchen saying, hey, can you take Ezra to daycare this week? Can you do this? Can we get this all organized? So that way we have a set plan that doesn't have to move a lot, because we know when we go to work every day.
Right.
So it's got to be before that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
Fine.
got to be in the morning. So think about all of those things that we just talked about. If you didn't have a set plan and you had to make those decisions every single day, that is, especially for women out there, we're already so decision fatigued because obviously we take care of a lot of the home stuff, and that's how our brain is wired. So you're going to add all this on top of that, and then you're going to have extreme decision fatigue. And when you have that, what happens is you just get a case of the, screw it, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this. This is too much.
Right. Like, where did I set my Bible last night? Where are my gym shoes? Where are my running stuff? Where's everything at? But again,
I don't have enough time. I have to do so many things today.
Oh, dang it. We didn't make the coffee and we didn't get the oats set up. It's that.
It's so chaotic. Oh my gosh, I can't.
Yeah. So it's about making the right decision easier than making the wrong decision.
Yeah. Make the right decision sitting in front of you every single day. And then you don't even have to think about the wrong one.
Right.
So
again, defining our why, making a covenant/committed plan that is not vague, that is very detailed, and removing the decision fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
What's the last one? Or second to last one?
So, I mean, we talked about it, but attaching your commitment to your identity. So just quickly, I mean, you're not trying, you are becoming something. You're not just sitting there oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And then that's it. You need to become that. And that sounds intense, but I mean, it's what needs to happen in order for for us to get to the next two things of discipline and consistency. You need to become it now with commitment.
Right. You can't flip-flop your identity for when you want it to be convenient for you, depending on what you're doing, where you're at, and who you're around.
Yeah. Your identity can't change just to make you comfortable in the situation you're in.
And I mean, even the Bible touched on this in 1 Corinthians 6, 19, 20. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you?
Mm-hmm.
You're not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. The price they're talking about is the price that Jesus went and died for our sins.
Yep.
But also, again, glorify God in your body is right there in the Bible.
Yep.
So just going to hammer on that a little bit. And then honestly, start small. We talked about this in the Act Like a Man episodes, or the part 2 of that. Start small. If you know that you have a fault somewhere, and this is where my temptation lies, and this is where the devil is going to attack, start with that.
Yep. Yeah. And sobriety. I want to get sober forever. Well, forever is a big word. How about we just stay sober today?
Right.
Small stuff. I want to run a marathon. How about we just run a 5K? Or, smaller than your ego wants, because your ego wants you to do big things, right? And it's okay, let's start with practicing the little things that are every single day that we've committed to that'll get us to the big thing. But we need to.
Comparison's the thief of joy, right?
Yeah.
And when I watch you and you work out 7 days a week,
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I gotta do that. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. You know what happens to me if I work out 7 days a week right now? I'm probably getting injured.
Yeah, that's not
Right.
that's not normal.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is, so like, it'd be better to work out 3 or 4 consistent times where this is good for me. This is where I feel good and my body feels good, and I'm creating a habit by being in the gym.
Yeah.
And even something that I need to improve on, but like days off, like I have tomorrow and Tuesday off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a light strength training on Monday. I'm going to stretch on Tuesday. Wednesday, I've got to taper 400s and some other stuff and back to running again. But like active, it's just the next actionable thing.
Yeah, maybe you go walk the dog.
This is something I'm always very passionate about too. What is your next actionable step? I say this at work, but I also say this in life. Like, yeah, maybe it's just walking the dog that day, but the next day you have taper 400s and you're like, well, Thursday, I don't have anything, so I'm just off that day. It's really easy to be off, but think about how simple stretching is. Even a 10 to 15 minute stretching routine and how good it makes you feel. Releases endorphins. Stacking. Yeah, exactly. And so just find that next actionable step. Right?
Your ego wants you to memorize the whole Bible.
Yeah, that's
My
true.
ego wants me to be, I want to be able to be one of those people that spits off verses off the top of their head. And when people do that, I'm like, what? I literally cannot do that right now. And I want to, but I need to start small.
Yeah. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram that has all of James memorized, what we're going through at ECU, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But he has it memorized to where when he talks, it sounds like he's just having a normal conversation. I'll have to show it to you. It's unbelievable. He just is talking like, my dear brothers, yeah, we should do the blah, 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 blah.
It's literally, it's so impressive.
Very impressive.
I strive to be that someday.
That's cool though. So yeah, as we move in, just think about the commitment is a sustainable obedience.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a plain and simple. And so you have your practical steps, right? There's 5 of them. There's defining our why, making a committed plan, removing decision fatigue,
mm-hmm.
attach your commitment to your identity. Do not flip flop and be different people. And then start small. Do all this, start small.
Yeah. And so when we reflect on all of those things, we can ask ourselves, what area of your life have you been negotiating? So let's reflect on that. Mm-hmm. This is for the listeners. Where have you been motivated but not committed? And what would, quote, no matter what, end quote, look like?
I like that. And I think take action on that. Write one of those commitment statements today.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I will meet with God every morning at 6 a.m. this week.
Right. I'll train Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next 12 weeks.
Yeah. And in doing so, I will honor God with my body.
But write it down. Put it on a mirror. Put it a sticky note in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, I guess we have sticky notes on our wall that say Bible verses I didn't even know about.
Well, that's why I wrote that up there. For me and my family. I will honor. See, I can't even spit that one off, and it's literally like 7 words, but I know what it means.
For me and my house, we will honor God.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
But I know what it means. But I'm just saying, I wrote that up there because I'm like, yes.
Bang. Yeah, you like it.
Wrote it on the sticky.
Yeah. But to preview these next episodes, like, commitment is this decision before discipline. You cannot skip straight to discipline.
No.
You have to have an actionable step in commitment. And you don't just drift into godliness, and you don't accidentally become strong. Like, no. It's not a thing.
It's not.
So you have to decide, right? Yes. Daniel resolved.
Yep.
Joshua declared. Yep. And the coolest one of all, Jesus set his face.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
But today, so today you choose. So commitment to Christ strengthens your spirit. Mm-hmm. Commitment to fitness strengthens your body, right? And both form a follower of Christ who leads with clarity, strength, and obedience. So for next week, we're going to move into discipline. So basically, we want to call this like step 2. Because commitment makes the vow, but discipline is what's going to keep it. Again, when motivation fades. We've committed, and now we're going to be disciplined about the action steps that we have established in commitment.
Yeah.
We need to be disciplined to carry these things out.
I like that.
So until then, we remember, purpose fuels performance.
That could be a shirt.
It could be. And performance without purpose is empty.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for tuning in today. It was a good conversation.
It was.
Please continue to listen, rate, review, subscribe. If you feel led to donate, great. If you want to buy anything from shop, great. Again, that all goes to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes here in Bloomington. But But truly, I challenge you guys to take a few principles of today's podcast and apply them today, not tomorrow, not next week. Like the sauna's waiting, the gym's waiting, the Bible's waiting, the bike is waiting, the pool, your favorite.
I'm going tomorrow morning.
Pool's waiting. And most of all, God is waiting on your commitment.
Yep. That's all he wants.
Take that with you this week.
Yep. So till next week.
Deuces.